My speeches may not sparkle, but I'm still trying to make you think, despite much evidence to the contrary, that all that glitters is not old. Libraries are full of history's reports of corruption and war, unfortunately with few authors determined to dissect motives and techniques, legal or criminal, with a view to proposing workable reforms. In other words, learning from historical catastrophes of behavior and at least attempting to influence current laws and leaders, not just erudite readers and fellow eggheads. Writers never tell us, "You'll notice history's horrible schemes and public crimes endlessly repeated. You'll also notice I don't try to tell you why or what the hell to do to stop the tragic cycle." And so we all keep on destroying the world. Warriors have no trouble shooting because we never try troubleshooting. But what do you expect from men rewriting the old stories of violent manly power, glory and conquest to make their own more modest livings? Certainly not the embarrassing and challenging truth that nobody but military patriarchs kept abusing powerful technology and weak people, or the obvious mandatory reversals of strategies needed to conduct humane, protective, just government. Required past, present, and future for peace, justice, equality, and prosperity. May I suggest that you ignore these men and read histories of business, especially the weapons business, swamping governments. Focus on the atomic age, both culmination of and microcosm of our 10,000 years of aggressive, mercenary, vicious bossism. I'm a useful idea person, but such a weak, helpless wimp. I hardly make a living in a field not my passion and power. Set up my think tank, Ted Turner. Imagine what I could do with a dozen skilled allies to advance research, historical and legal books, and a worldwide reform campaign if saving the world was my powerful job, not merely my weak hobby. Get 1 billion times your UN results with 1,000th of the money. I'm flagging here. Folks, please help me add more parts to how to save the world. Once you start with any little baby video, your contribution may also be a link to text information on any website you may provide. We'll need names, addresses, phone, and emails of every president, Defense and State Department chief, Supreme and federal court judge, constitutional lawyer, peace and justice organization, senator, and congressman of every country on earth. Everybody starts scribbling appeals to everyone that our constitutions must be realized soon, or all of our dear children may well suffer and die. Tag your contributions in thorough, accurate detail and add your Part 641 to the 640 How to Save the World videos we've racked up so far, for example. To my recent simple point, war is weapons, permitted in excess. And my example of Israel's American-supplied bombs versus Hamas's smuggled rockets, both attack civilians predominantly. Each side believes that exporting enough terror and tragedy onto the other nation's innocents will pressure their leaders to give up. However, war directors compete to the bitter end. My people can suffer more than yours, so no mercy for yours or mine, long as I got the power. For millennia, Generals alternated from soldier field battles to civilian slaughter, while the devil himself could only stand back with helpless admiration. So the game is, who can murder, grieve, or horrify the most innocents on the other side? Explosive technology evermore attacks civilians, and consider that the worst modern conventional war is still but 1,000th of a billionth as much total terrorism as the nuclear superpowers demand that their citizens prepare to inflict and invite upon themselves. American foreign policy and military mission into its third decade of Mideast bombing and seventh decade of nuclear planet dooming is marketed as our war on terror. Probably because the TNT and atomic bombs' reality of terror, guaranteeing its 1,000 to billion-fold increase, wouldn't sell so well. The big lie used by Hitler's propaganda minister, Joseph Goebbels, is now standard superpower marketing gospel. Trace our most modern depths of savagery to American General Billy Mitchell. In 1915, he foresaw the future of war. Waves of bombers skirting behind enemy lines to go slaughter the opponent's cities. Billy enthused that horrified survivors would overthrow their own government so as to surrender and avoid more attacks. Turns out our finest prophet nailed the next century to a T. Why bother to compete, soldier versus prepared, willing professional combatant, when you've got planes and explosives enough to smear and fry the thousands to millions of women and children your opponent's soldiers are fighting to protect? Winning isn't everything, said Vince Lombardi. It's the only thing. World War II rose to burning 1,000 a night alive in German and Japanese cities days from their nation's surrender. Nuclear extinction, we've already discussed. Modern wars routinely explode maximum habitations before the victims have time to flee. Beastly terrorists kill 50 at a time with flying nails. Nations ready to pulverize 8 billion shout that bus and market bombers are the villains of history and not our itsy-bitsy imitators. Virtually every citizen in superpower nations has been propagandized to accept and agree that we're so smart to be nuclear cannon fodder to protect our superpowerdom and therefore safety. Public relations, meaning endless, massive lies, follow weapon advances instantly and permanently to match the grand technology. But law and morality go straight to 10 million degree hell to give the bestial bombs and bombers free rein, when only the opposite rise of moral and legal power could possibly save us. Our hellish government achievement, fueled by tens of thousands of dedicated, profit-driven corporate executives and their politician employees, must be accompanied and buttressed by critical propaganda and even more essential, non-negotiable demands, smoothly, firmly, irreversibly driven into our deep brains. Don't anyone even think of simply outlawing these or any other mass-killing weapons and never question our sales techniques. This towering structure of death, our superpowerdom, is founded upon our commercial, government, and military freedom to dictate, expand, and explode this incomprehensible force against everyone's life. Do not remember the 100 million war dead last century. Forget that 8 billion are doomed. Think only that universal murder-suicide is your country's pride, glory, flag, righteous hate, and oh yes, safety. Believe us by ignoring all past, present, and future, and invite the fox, endlessly slavering for money and blood, never yet constrained by a single law or physical limit to guard your henhouse. Note that lies claiming that an agent of death is comfort and fulfillment, telling us to ignore impending destruction of self and loved ones, are the precise self-delusions of every toxic, deadly drug addict. And warriors are often genetically skewed to aggression, as addicts are to intoxicant appetite. And to heal both and our critically ill planet, opiate and weapon supply must be cut off by ironclad rules. Then laws of love must forever govern the lives of recovering drug and war addicts. Another word on our recent subject, propaganda. Its goal and achievement is mass stupidity, necessary before we buy this. Peace is infinite weapons and endless war. We're winning your permanent security, you see. Never mind that war's bankruptcy and ever-spreading mass murder ended every power and brutality civilization from all history. The most dangerous, ultimate lie atop our steaming American government pile is our recent Supreme Court's claim that vast new bribery may now be unleashed because gift-o for public servants is really a constitutionally protected form of free speech. Never mind that our bribing oligarchs, military dictatorships, rigged elections, crushing all independent opinion, prosperity, and soon enough survival is as plain as the nose on your face. As is its destruction of free thought and free speech. Never mind. Yes, weapons supply is war's immediate cause, and your duty to anyone you love is to help choke it off. But let's follow the cause and effect chain back to the beginning. Hunting weapons seemed okay for us for 2 million years because only animals died. Then one technological advance, cultivated food, led to patriarchy and war when men fired women as co-leaders of society and started killing farmers for food during a bad year for hunting game. Then money, owned land, and commerce with things all became endless prey, killing and conquest. Male dictators building careers and empires with arsenals and armies dominated his story ever since. We have already discussed the indispensable propaganda or lies to keep us docile, stupid sheep and lemmings. Nationalistic jingoism especially helpful. Saving the world begins with breaking the heaviest link of the chain bolting us to our slab of extinction, trapping us under the descending bombs. Propaganda purchased with bribes. Politicians use most of that industrial money to buy 10 times the TV lies that their doomed opponent can afford, since he doesn't have the incumbent's power to steal our treasury for arms amalgamated. And the bribes, I mean campaign contributions, by court order. Then dirty incumbents lose their advantage. Way more challengers win with the truth that the freedom to sell and buy titanic weaponry is actually the slavery, slaughter, and economy wrecker that ruined the world for 10,000 years. We're 5 minutes from nuclear midnight, so we must carefully, internationally, equally, and finally completely destroy nuclear weapons together. Even the paranoid will feel, during this whole process, progressively safer. As weapons themselves seem to have a spooky notion or love of growing in menace, sales, and disgusting legality, we must work steadily to reduce sales, supply, and menace by challenging and defeating that crazy, evil legality. My speeches have detailed war as a chain reaction of aggressive technology, commercial government tyranny, and misdirected genetic psychology. A spitting fuse burning long without a break towards even only a medium-sized nuclear war that would scour the earth itself high into the stratosphere for 2 years, blotting out the sunshine, killing 99.9% of all life. Along with this fuse, absolutely unstoppable while inexorably nurtured by our insane, evil, business-as-usual public system, burns the current dozens of history's thousands of titanic, ferocious hot wars that killed hundreds of millions and ruined billions more lives through the ultimate savagery big men call civilization. I tell you exactly how to drown those fires and cut that fuse now a millimeter from the extinction of humanity and living earth. Step by step, how you may realistically accomplish the salvation of your family and your world. Tooting my own horn, you understand? Can we reverse history's explosive chain reaction with our own human divine love bomb? Or have you decided not to try? Which, of course, would answer that question. Supposing you do keep working a little job each week or so, many use in multiplying collaboration, ancient love exactly. In rather few years, all of us activated citizens and salary-only leaders from normal, benevolent genetic stock will ever be pulling our family laws of peace, equality, and justice straight from Mom and Dad and our 2-million-year Eden right up to public affairs with the simple public laws to stop the bribing, borrowing, and city-blasting militaries, stopping those fat cats from robbing our national store. I'll do my millionth of 1%, and y'all pitch in the other 99.9999999% to expand your own family love to the law and decision makers, who are then guided and coerced to redirect your active love back to the world of constituents you taught them to work for. The family of man, woman, and child, especially yours. reversing the world's titanic nuclear menace, an actual conventional war horror, would be the long abandoned achievement of just, humane human government and society, and well within our, not their, leadership capacity. When we finally govern our government as they never have, ending oligarchy's tyranny of military dictatorship, as we restore and protect but never complacently believe that we have permanently resecured our democracy, stolen from us after our founders designed and our revolting but loving citizens fought for our freedom. Freedom, the opportunity to do what you need to achieve a decent, safe, happy life for you and your loved ones, is more than just the desperate minimum of room to maneuver through a hostile world of minefields. Freedom requires that no one steal it from you, especially a corrupt, violent, pretend democracy. For our freedom, solvency, future, and lives, we're going to have to force our government to become and remain peaceful, honest, lawful, protective, not rapacious, and unselfish or merely helpful. Only its original, entire, collective, constitutional, lawful purpose. No constitution can more than framework your rights and describe this ideal justice and democracy. That is why most national founders insisted that conscientious judges and vigilant citizens, often not in that order, ever reanalyze the letter, intent, and spirit of those constitutions' laws to recognize, adjust to, and fight old and new tyrannies that will ever rush, or more likely sneak in to ruin us, some or all, merely to amuse the tiny minority of strange, unethical, greedy little men conspiring to excess abusive power. We citizens have mostly forgotten our duty to each other, specifically all families' political and military safety. Our government's easily abandoned umbrella of justice and care. Through most of those evil, stolen 10,000 years, few leaders even pretended to allow democratic rights. And the few protesters were pretty much running at spears naked. What's your excuse for inaction? Unless you live under a government that jails and even tortures dissenters. Most of us avoid concentrating on even catastrophic public misbehavior. Our private plates are full, and we may temporarily succeed in achieving a certain security and freedom. We fail to track the ominous progression of explosive government expansion, explosive growth of weapons and war, and explosive expansion of private money into politics. We're adaptable frogs paddling around in the ever-heating, simmering pot, habituated degree by degree towards that final, fatal, full boil. So we never seize alarm and initiative and jump out. So we're game, set, and triple match point down. And who's left to pick up the racket for humanity plus your family? You know damn well who. So don't tell me you don't. Have you heard the Pointer Sisters' greatest hit? Jump. Jump for my love. Use your brain, arms, fingers, ink pen, mouth, and legs to spring into action, to fight. A true peacemaker and justice winner is the nastiest scrapper in town. Slap 'em on both cheeks, then up comes your knee. Real changes are offers they can't refuse.